Hi, I'm Melanie.
And I'm Corey.
And welcome to Love 'em and Lead 'em.
Lessons and laughs with the ladies of Dog Training Camp USA.
In this podcast, you'll take away proven and practical dog training advice with plenty of stories and laughs along the way.
Join us as we share our experience from the kennel and from life.
With that, let's sniff our way into this episode.
We're back at it.
Howdy.
They just can't get rid of us.
Or maybe they can't get enough of us. I don't know.
We're like that cold sore that just always rears its ugly head at the most inopportune time.
Speak for yourself.
No, I've never had a herp.
Yeah.
Ever.
Me neither.
Okay, then we're not the cold sore. It's us. We're back.
Hi. We've got lots of things to talk about today.
We do.
The first being how ugly you are.
Oh, come on. Even my lips are clear. I want to talk about my shirt. So my shirt says, "Can I pet your dog?" And I wore this today because I had to do a presentation this morning, and I just wanted to give everyone that sees me today a visual reminder that you should always ask before touching another person's dog.
I was going to say, it's a funny shirt for you to wear because after you do this job for a while, you really don't want to pet everybody's dog anymore.
I don't hardly have the desire anymore. We were on a river floating trip in Missouri, and there's dogs everywhere. They're all kayaking. They're so cute. I'm in love with them. They've all got their little life jackets on, and some of them have a shark fin, and it's the cutest thing ever. And I didn't ask anybody to pet them until I saw one dog, and it was walking out into the water. And if I could have hit my brakes, I would have, but I was
record scratch.
I was in a flotation device.
Mm-hmm.
It was a borbal. And I saw it from a distance, and I thought, oh my
You're going to have to explain what a borbal is.
What I see. So it's a breed of Mastiff. It's giant, very thick, gigantic head, and you just don't see them. They're not for laymen, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And so I yelled to the guy, "Is that a borbal?" And he's like, his record scratch. He was like, "How did you know that?" And I'm like, "Can I please pet him?" And I had a heart attack, and then I furiously paddled to the side.
Of course you did.
And I did pet him, and he was not interested in me at all, but he also did not attack me, so that was great.
Hey, great. Yeah.
But so even I ask, but most dogs we don't really need to mess with anymore.
It's true. I don't think I would be interested in petting a borbal. They're bred for hunting lions.
Yeah, I was super psyched. I figured,
it's on
whatever.
the river.
I'm already having cocktails floating down the river.
There's no lions on the river.
What else? What could happen that would be bad?
Yeah, what could happen? A bunch of drunk people on the river. I don't know, Corey.
River people are the best people.
Okay.
What happens on the river stays at the river unless you find a really interesting dog breed.
You know what else that rule applies to is the Christopher Cross Africa concert we went to.
Okay, so now we're moving on to Melanie's shirt, which is an awesome shirt, but I hate to tell everybody, it's not the shirt we wanted. So this is
true.
Go ahead.
This concert was probably top 5, one of the greatest nights of my life. Up there.
Oh my gosh.
With the birth of my child.
I got you this concert as a Christmas gift, and I spent a whole whopping $43 per ticket.
I hope I can rock that hard when I'm that old. Those guys.
Okay. Did you say who we went to see?
Yeah. Christopher Cross and Toto and Men at Work.
Men at Work.
Yeah. Let's not leave them out. But I mean, my heart pattered when Christopher Cross was on
Do you want to say what happened when they started singing? When he started singing.
I don't remember.
He started singing the theme song to Arthur.
Greatest day of my life.
I go,
Greatest.
I never in a million years would have imagined that I could see him sing the Arthur theme song live. And I like was getting teary eyed.
I know. It was so good that we went to get I was like, I have to commemorate this. Like, I have to get a Christopher Cross t-shirt. And he was so good
Yeah,
that
we both wanted them.
they were sold out. And so I had to settle for Africa, which nothing against Africa, but
And they
or
sounded
Toto, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
Toto, but they sounded great.
They were so good.
It was fantastic. But we were left with Christopher Cross
We got koozies
koozies.
with the flamingo and
Yeah.
oh
but
god,
man,
greatest
ugh.
night of my life.
So anyway, we're rocking the shirts today.
Yeah, let's bless the reins here on
do
this
it.
conversation we're gonna have, which is about service dogs. So
Yeah, this is a hot topic.
you say that every time.
Well, it is.
We do a ton of service dogs. We get a ton of questions about it. We're constantly trying to educate the
It's
public.
one of the top hits on our website.
Yes, it is.
Every time we get the website report, the
Yeah.
service dog page is one of the top hits that people are clicking on and reading about.
Yeah, and I think it's got so much like misconception out there. People think it's regulated or unregulated or what makes a service dog not a service dog.
And there's fake service dogs.
We're gonna just dive into all of that, and we're gonna start by the governing kind of piece of legislation that does service dogs. Everybody gets to see my stickers.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to the Americans with Disabilities Act is kind of our Bible when it comes to service dogs. So I like to just read this word for word, what it says a service dog is under definition. Straight from the ADA, a service animal is defined as a dog that has been individually trained to do work or perform tasks for an individual with a disability. The task performed by the dog must be directly related to the person's disability.
Correct.
What does that mean to you?
That if you are a person that doesn't have a disability, you should not be out there walking around pretending you have a service dog.
Yeah, disability doesn't mean like having gray hair, by the way.
That's an extra ability. That's an extra ability.
No, a lot of people think like I don't know what they think. I don't know what they're thinking when they call us with some of this stuff. But this is what the law is, right? And it's such a controversial topic because when people are kind of disregarding these rules and they're not doing the right thing, they're making our clients' lives so much harder.
Oh, for sure.
By going places where they shouldn't be with dogs that aren't trained, and then our clients with dogs that they need medically are getting harassed and having a hard time because of people that have gone before them that are taking dogs into places that shouldn't be. So
Yes. It's very frustrating.
yeah,
We do a lot of education on this.
we give seminars on this. We have clients that come to us that say, you know, I'm getting a hard time at work over my dog, and we've gone into a client's workplace and sat down with their boss with our ADA binder,
Yeah.
and been like, here's why you're breaking the law. Like, what you're doing is illegal. It's discrimination. So it's very near to our hearts. We become very close with our service dog clients, and we're going to go over
How we do things.
how we do it as
Yeah.
well. It's a lot different than any other probably things out there that you've seen. But what's the biggest, as the one that answers the phone, I mean, I'd say what's the biggest kind of first thing that you're trying to get across about service work to people?
I mean, it depends on what they're calling about in general. It kind of goes back to, if anybody listened to our episode on personal protection, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's people think, or they've been told, that a service dog would help them. And while that is true, a lot of people, a service dog is a life or death and saves them and is an immense help in functioning in the real world with any kind of disability that they have. But it's also a lot of work, and it's a lot of unknowns, and there's a lot of variables, and there's a lot of training that the service dog owner has to do and keep up with. And so, depending on what's going on in the household and what's going on with the human that is looking to get a service dog, sometimes it's not ever the be all end all. And that's what people are call us, and they're a lot of times looking for a Hail Mary. Like, we've tried everything else. This is the last thing. Or, we've been to 5 doctors and this last one told us we should get a service dog. And so it's like a Hail Mary, or they think it's going to be the ticket to help them or help their kid or whatever. And people are just not aware of the work that it takes, the money that it takes, the investment, and all the things that go along with it.
Well, and I think we're so passionate about this because I think medical providers are, and I don't think it's this like nefarious evil thing that they're doing to these people, but they're in a position of authority, and they're recommending to somebody who's probably pretty vulnerable and or in crisis, usually if they're in this position
Correct.
to even be thinking about a service dog. They're saying, here's a prescription for it.
Go get one.
And gosh, we've just seen it backfire so badly. And these people that, again, they're in a vulnerable position and they're making a huge life change or a life decision. Usually they go out and get the dog and then call us. And then it's like too late to do anything about it. Or for us to explain to them that, hey, maybe this isn't a good fit. So that's a little bit of the background of why we're so passionate about this.
Well, and the other part too is it is unregulated, right? There's no law.
Well, the ADA is the
ADA regulations are the only regulations.
Yeah.
They don't specify how a dog has to be trained. They don't specify who has to train the dog. They don't specify the tasks or any of that kind of logistical stuff.
Well, when you say how a dog has to be trained, they do say it has to be task trained to mitigate a disability, but it doesn't, I just want to clarify, it doesn't say what method you use. So you don't, it doesn't matter
who is training it, or that it has to be. So you can even self-train your service dog.
In the state of Kentucky, yes.
And so
it varies by state.
You can self-train your service dog, or you can get it through an agency.
I misspoke. Dogs if you're self-training a dog and it's in training, it has access rights in the state of Kentucky.
Correct.
That's the thing that varies from state to state.
Anybody can self-train a service dog.
Sorry, go ahead.
Wait, I want to pause for a second. Melanie was wrong, and she misspoke, and she admitted it. And I'm worried that she's going to pinch me right now.
No, I'm not. I just did the thing that you're teaching my toddler. I'm like, I'd like to speak now.
She did. She grabbed my arm.
Interrupting you. Hey, okay.
So look at all my teaching. I'm even teaching you. Oh, there's the bird.
Yep.
And not the kind we usually watch. So you can, I guess all of this to say, it is unregulated. There are guidelines, there are guide rails through the ADA, but the rest of it kind of seems like the wild, wild west, and it kind of is the wild, wild west. So when you get a provider, meaning a doctor or a therapist or, some agency that's working with someone that is saying, oh, I think a service dog would help. And then they're just like, yeah, you should get one. Here's my permission on a piece of paper to go get one. And then people are like, okay, now what do I do?
Well, it gets a little, I think where I think the confusion lies, where like doctors are getting involved in this, is there are certain, in the Fair Housing Act, there's certain language in there that implies you can have a dog in a place, you can live with a dog in a place that's where dogs are prohibited with, I don't want to say a doctor's note, because that's what people call us and say, I got a note from a doctor, I can get a service dog. So that's not really what it is. But they can, under that piece of legislation, they can say you're required to provide proof that you need this dog for where you live.
Yeah.
If it's prohibited. So that's where I think most of the confusion is. But then I think nobody cares to really know the difference between all of these things.
Yeah.
And that's where everything gets wild.
So it's frustrating for us, and it's frustrating for our clients and people that are calling, and they're like, but my doctor said it's the exact thing I need to do and need to have. And then when they start asking me how to go about it, again, it's the Wild West. And so there's a lot of misconceptions about service dogs, like you get a fully trained service dog. Well, yeah, you absolutely can get a fully trained, task trained service dog that is well versed in public access and all the things. You get those from a service dog organization or an agency. Some are for profit, some are nonprofit. Typically, there are very long waiting lists for these programs. There are a lot of qualifications, a lot of applications, a lot of that kind of thing, and very, very long waits because, as you can imagine,
several years.
You know how long it takes you to get, a thing across to your regular dog, let alone if you're doing a ton of extensive training and task work. It takes a long time to train them.
There's not just a warehouse where there's a bunch of service dogs sitting around waiting for people to come.
No.
But
that seems to be the perception.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of we're battling is, what do you mean? What do you mean I just can't get one?
Yeah.
Well, no, you can't get one. People do this as a job for their whole lives. Like, that's their mission in life, is to do service dogs. And if you are working at an agency that has a lot of funding and a lot of resources and whatnot, and a lot of trainers that you can hire, they can obviously pump out more dogs and have more availability. But if you're paying for a dog out of pocket, a lot of times it's upwards of $50,000, $60,000.
Yeah.
So, the average person that's calling saying, my doctor told me to get a service dog, is finding out once they make some more calls to actual trainers and programs that it's very cost prohibitive. And it's that way because of the work that it takes. I mean, there's absolutely probably that much that's gone into that dog.
Yeah.
So I'm not faulting any of them.
Mm-mm.
In fact, if we could do it that way, we would love to do it that way. It'd be awesome. And charitable organizations will do it, and they'll do it the same way. And so it's not as easy as it's thought to be to get a service dog. So you can get one from an agency that's already fully trained. My family has actually done that. He was retired. He had been trained to work in a preschool classroom, and
But he had an actual a disabled handler that he helped, like a one sole handler.
So no, he didn't. He was service dog trained through an organization in St. Louis, and they specifically trained him to work in a Head Start preschool classroom.
So he was therapy track.
Well, he acted as a therapy dog, but his training was service dog. So
that's what I
when
mean.
We got him. He could unload the washing machine or the dryer, pull the clothes out. He could open the door, and he could do the drawers and close drawers and pick things up and do all the things. So he was actually task trained for someone with physical disabilities.
Yeah.
And in his retirement, we ended up with him, and he changed our whole lives. But again, if I was looking for a service dog for my disabilities and I went to that kind of an organization, I'm out of pocket $60,000 easily. And so it's just not attainable for a lot of people. It's the same with guide dog organizations. So guide dogs are service dogs, obviously, but that is a whole separate set of kind of tasks and training that is so specialized and so serious.
Well, and the dogs are genetically
Yes.
engineered to be able to do that type of work. Like, you're not going to pull a purebred lab out of any just run-of-the-mill litter and make it a guide dog.
Right. Well, that's what these organizations are breeding specifically for the characteristics that make them perform their tasks well. So again, that's why the cost is so high.
Yeah.
They're doing all of this internally. And unless you have a lot of funding, you can't do that. Just the average business or average dog training company can't do that. So yeah, I mean, you can get one from an agency. You can self-train one. Actually, we have a little bit of a story about that, that we can talk about. And what we do is we consider it kind of a hybrid model of, we're able to keep costs lower. We're doing some of the initial part. We're doing one task. We're getting the dog public access and practicing all these things. And then we're working with the client to continue the training and to keep working on more task work and to, get them comfortable using the dog in public and taking the dog in public and things like that.
Yeah. So you're, again, back to the example of the dog that came to live with you. He knew, how many tasks do you think he knew total? Like by our definition of how we train, what, 5 or 6?
Waco?
Yeah.
He knew 30 tasks.
30?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. We don't ever talk about this.
No. Yeah.
So we went to pick this. So the dog was retired. It was through that organization. He was utilized differently than what he was trained for.
Right.
So he ended up being in more of a therapy role,
Yeah.
but he would clean up toys in the Head Start classroom. He would put things away. He would hold the door for the kids when they left the classroom.
Yeah.
He would be the line leader. So he did all of these really amazing things. He came to us to work with my son who had has some disabilities that we felt like it would be a good option. We didn't need him to go to school. We just needed some support at home. The dog came to live with us, and we literally had one afternoon of training with him. And we met the dog, and I was handed a folder, and it had all of his shot records and all of his work history and all these things. And it had a sheet of paper that had 30 tasks on it. And here's the command, and here's what he'll do with this command.
Okay. Gotcha.
And so then we had to spend, honestly, years, months and years, work figuring out the dog, how to use him, what he would do for us, what he could do.
Yeah.
And so then, it was kind of, we had to figure it all out ourselves.
Talking about, that's been our experience with people who have been fortunate enough to be able to go through a whole process and purchase a dog that's already been trained. That's usually what we find is like the dog can pretty much do anything because genetically it's ready to go and the training's been done.
Yeah.
But there's no support for the handlers.
No, in
Zero.
fact, we've had calls just for that.
Yeah.
I had a girl that called that had gotten a diabetic alert dog from an organization in Indianapolis. She spent like 3 or 4 days up there in a hotel with the trainer, and they did some things, and she got the dog home, and she's like, I have no idea what to do with this dog. Like, I have no idea because they didn't have the relationship yet. They didn't even know each other. And she didn't know how to handle the dog at the grocery store. She didn't know how. She was really struggling taking the dog to the gym with her. She needed the dog at the gym because her blood sugar would drop when she was working out.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, well, it's a fully trained dog. We'll figure it out together.
How hard can it be?
Yeah. How hard can it be? I've already done it before.
Well, it's just,
we went to breakfast together.
I know.
I went to the gym with that girl.
It
We
gets
did all
me
kinds of things.
that these people are paying all this money and they're not getting like this part of the service that they actually really need. Like, right? Like, which is the hands-on. Here's where you put him, how you put him under the booth in the restaurant. Here's, I don't know, just beyond frustrating. So
yeah. So all of this to say, there's no clear-cut one way to do this, and it's kind of the Wild West, and I feel like I'm constantly breaking people's hearts when I kind of give them the lowdown on it.
So there's a couple different like categories we could break this down into, right? Like there's service dogs that can mitigate, like that can help mitigate symptoms of a physical disability. So we've trained dogs to help people get up out of chairs. We've
like mobility tests.
Yeah, we've helped dogs, brace people when they walk if they have issues walking. That would be examples of mobility dogs.
Even picking things up off that you've dropped or retrieving medication.
We trained
things like that.
We trained a lady was super hard of hearing. I think had a disease where she was kind of slowly losing her hearing.
Oh yeah.
And we trained that dog to alert her on smoke alarms and sirens because she was just terrified of I don't know if she lived alone or traveled a lot or something, but that was an amazing
sirens when she was driving.
Oh
yeah. She couldn't she couldn't hear if police or ambulance or emergency vehicles were around her.
Yeah,
she would have to wait to see them. And so we trained the dog to alert her when it heard sirens.
Yeah,
when she was driving.
Yeah. I mean, people are coming to us like, and they're like, here's my problem. And we're really we're getting as creative as we can to solve the problems that they have. That was an interesting one. The other kind of realm that we dabble in is psychiatric service dogs, which any range of things that we've dealt with, bipolar, PTSD,
schizophrenia,
eating disorders. I mean, all of these things we're teaching dogs to help people with, like super depressive episodes, like, hey, get up and take your meds, right? Like these dogs are getting their people out of their bed when they're, in major depressive episodes. So that's kind of the other realm, or dissociative disorders, where we're training dogs. If the dog notices my human is spaced out,
self-harm,
interrupting self-harm. That's been a big one we've done a ton. Deep pressure therapy, where a dog, kind of brings you back into your body by interacting with you somehow or laying across you. Like all of these kind of crazy things. We've pulled dogs out of the shelter and trained them to do these crazy things. We've had people bring us their dogs and we've been like, it can do this for you, but this kind of dog can't do that for you, right? Like, so I like being able to use dogs that people already have if it's appropriate. It doesn't work all the time, but usually the dog already knows you and probably is familiar with your disability, right? Like that, like,
oh, we say it all the time. Like,
it just doesn't know what to do
people will
yet.
say, what should I do before we start training? And we're like, actually really pay attention to what your dog's doing when you're having a hard time, because your dog is probably already alerting or doing something different.
They're responding to you.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so it's, again, it goes back to teaching people to read their dog and teaching the dog to read the person. So our training really lends itself to that anyway.
Yeah.
And so it's a natural kind of fit for us. But yeah, those are some of the tasks that we've done. Like, we've done scent work.
Do a lot of scent work. Yeah.
For, things in the environment that might cause an allergic reaction to somebody. We've done seizure alert.
Yeah.
So those are some of the tasks, some of the things that a dog can do to help someone. We've taught dogs to hit the wheelchair button so that the door opens.
Yeah, we did.
At different places.
Yeah. Gosh, it's funny thinking about all these crazy things we've done.
Like 2 or 3 of the things are not even on our list of things to cover. But we love doing it. But again, it's is it going to be a good fit? Are we the right people to do this for you?
Right.
Are you up for the challenge? Are you in? Yeah. And is it reasonable to think that the dog can handle that? I mean, there's some disqualifiers of people calling with a dog.
Yeah.
But in general, we try our best. I mean, we've turned down a fair amount.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd say we probably turn down more than we actually take on, just because the dog has to be perfect. For us to do this at the price point we can do it, and with the model that we do it, the dog has to fit a lot of criteria if they're bringing us a dog. Now, some people have come to us and said, I'm ready to start from scratch. I'm in it for the long haul. And we've got breeders that we work with and that we know we can usually get pretty solid puppies out of. But again, they're still not service dog bred.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're still taking a little bit of a gamble there, but yeah, we've done all kinds of crazy things.
I know. We're sitting here laughing. Again, there's a lot of ways to do this. So we've figured out the way that works for us and our clients and in our business model. And we try to help as many people as we can. But one of the things that we always run up against that's so frustrating is people calling and they say, I want a service dog. I need a service dog. My doctor said I should have a service dog. And I say, okay, well, what can the dog help you with? What are you struggling with? And they'll be like, I have anxiety. And I said, okay. And what kind of dog do you have? It's a Chihuahua and it's 12.
Hell yeah.
And I'm like, well, we should probably let her just live her life. Yeah. So that happens. Or
I need you to sign me a paper that says I can take my dog on the airplane.
yep, I need a service dog because I want to travel with it
Yeah.
for free. Well, I'm sorry, but this recovering special education teacher is not going to help you fake a disability to get a free flight. I hate to tell you, not happening.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So some of those things, and then like we said earlier with our frustrations around providers recommending this is the one that sticks out to me more than any other one. And I think you have a snap video of me falling on the ground.
You're like this.
When I with my head on
the
hand on my head on the phone.
It was so bad.
So it was a lady that called me, and her son's cardiologist said that a service dog would help them and she should get a service dog. And again, with no other information other than you need to get a service dog for this kid, go do it. It would help.
I think what she said was the doctor really thought it would lift his spirits.
Yeah. Well, first of all, that's not a criteria for a service dog.
True.
But then she went on to tell me that her child, very young child, was in the cardiac ICU in heart failure
For like a long term stay.
Yeah, had been there and was going to be there for a long time. And in congestive heart failure, this little kid, and the mom is obviously devastated, very emotional, terrified. And the doctor said, you need to get him a service dog. I think that would really help him. And she's living at the hospital. She can't go to work, like all of the things. And she went out and bought a puppy because the doctor told her that she should get a service dog. And so then by the time she calls me, I'm like, okay, well, if we're starting with a baby puppy, we're looking at 1.5 years-ish until the dog can actually, perform whatever tasks we decide. And right now you have a puppy that you need to crate train and potty train and socialize and teach manners and all the things. And she said, I can't do that. I'm in the hospital.
Yeah, I'll never forget.
I
forget this call.
Like, I could have vomited when I got off of that phone call. And it just really broke my heart because now she's looking for the Hail Mary that the doctor said would help her kid. And she just did it.
Yeah.
Because she's in a fragile state of mind.
Yeah.
And she got no guidance. And then I had to be the one that was like,
this is not how any of this works.
This is not how it goes. This is not how it works. And then it's, how can I get a fully trained service dog? And then I'm like, this is kind of
it's only going to cost you $50,000.
Yeah, this is the price range.
Jeez.
And so that is kind of why we feel so strongly about educating and even educating providers. If you're a therapist or a doctor listening to this, please talk to us before you continue to recommend people get service dogs, because sometimes it causes more problems than it helps. I mean, if we're being honest. So, that's why we talk about this so much.
The other kind of part of this that just you bringing up that story that comes up a lot is I want a service dog for my kid. Talk a little bit about.
Oh, yeah.
that.
Okay. So, the other part is I want a service dog for my child. And can that work? Absolutely. In fact, we've seen it work. We've done it before.
Yeah.
But a child under a certain age, I actually looked this up because I was getting so many phone calls about it. And again, there's no hard and fast rules, but the general rule of thumb is a child under the age of 14-ish is not capable of handling their own service dog.
Where'd you read that?
It's from the Google machine, so it has to be true. I can look it up again and we can maybe put it in the show notes.
I would like to see that.
But it goes along with a recent one. Okay, so here's a recent one. I had a lady call and the child is on the autism spectrum. It's been recommended that they get a service dog for, I don't know, we didn't really even get to talk about task work. So for various reasons. Mm-hmm. The kid is like 7 and the lady found a purebred pit bull, Staffordshire Terrier. And she said it was just born and she was going to get it. And her plan was to turn it into a service dog and send it to school with her 7-year-old. And I said, okay, let's talk about this. I said, did you already buy the dog? She's like, no. And I said, okay, let's talk about this. So from the special educator's perspective, she's telling me her son is on the spectrum. He's in all general education classes, which thank God I have background knowledge in this stuff.
Yeah.
He's in all general education classes. He works really hard to fit in with his peers. He has some support in some of his classes, but he's not pulled out. And, you know, his whole life's mission is to just blend in. And so I just said to the mom, I said, so is being the kid that has a pit bull with him in school going to help him blend in? And she stopped dead in her tracks. And she goes, he literally won't even wear the noise canceling headphones because he doesn't want to look different.
Man.
And I said, there are so many issues with this plan, but let's just start with, is this the best thing for your kid? Because it's not going to make him blend in. He's going to stick out like a sore thumb. And I said, then what if so we're going to use it for like maybe a meltdown, like a mood meltdown or overstimulation, like some grounding, things like that. And I said, if your son is having one of his like autism meltdowns, for lack of a better word, does he have his faculties about him that he would be able to keep control and a handle on the dog? And she said, no. And I said, then that dog cannot go in public with him as the handler. It's not safe.
Yeah.
It's not safe for him and it's not safe for the dog. So we talked about all of these things, not to mention the breed discrimination and everything else. And we've trained multiple pit mixes straight out of the shelter to be service dogs. So it's not a breed discrimination thing on us. But there's not a school district that I'm aware of that will open arms welcome a pit bull into an elementary school classroom with the handler being 7 and on the autism spectrum.
I'm so like this work that we've done. I mean, everybody knows what my background is. It was military, working dogs, but and nothing education and nothing working with anybody with disabilities. And I'm so grateful and thankful that of the perspective that your background has brought to this, because working with these people has changed my life. Like it's absolutely the most important work I've ever done. And I remember the day we were working with a kid. I don't mean to go on a tangent here, but it was maybe a 3 or 4 year old, had a lot of like mobility problems, and we were we had like a larger breed dog, really trying to help. I don't remember. It's been a long time ago.
The standard poodle.
Yeah. But she was in a walker, and I mean, we were really trying to help this kid get to where she could walk. And we wanted her to walk unassisted holding the dog. And I had been at it for a while, and I finally brought you in, and after watching the kid and the dog walk, and we were kind of looking, and you were like, oh, I know exactly what this kid needs. She needs a counterbalance. She needs to be holding a counterbalance in her other hand. And we gave her something to hold, a toy or something.
I forgot all about this.
And the damn kid walked down the block. I mean, I'll never forget it. So anyways, I think, yeah, I mean, I don't enjoy saying nice things about you because you're 99% of the time a pain in my ass, but we compliment each other nicely, and that expertise that you bring to these really hard conversations we have with people is invaluable.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm going to edit all of this out.
I'm going to put it on a loop. I'm going to put it on a loop, and I'm going to listen to it all the time.
This seems like a great spot to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about our processes and some of the kind of more procedural ways that we help people with this.
And we've probably got some funny stories too.
Very funny. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Love 'Em and Lead 'Em. If you want to hear more, be sure to check us out every other week on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Please be sure to follow us on Instagram at Dog Training Camp USA Louisville, and check out our website at dogtrainingcamplouisville.com for more information on our training and other services.
If you need help with your dog, don't hesitate to reach out. You can find our contact details in the show notes.
We'll smell you later.